In 1933, an act was passed that allowed Hitler to pass laws without the participation of the Reichstag. It was formerly called Gesetz zur Behebung der Not von Volk und Reich, and was the second step to Hitler becoming dictator of Nazi Germany. The first being the Reichstag fire decree, which limited civil liberties in response to the burning down of the Reichstag. So, one must ask, why was so much power given to one man? It all started with a single event. The Reichstag fire occurred on the 27th of February, 1933. It started in the session room of the building, and by the time firefighters arrived, the main chamber of deputies had ignited. Despite the best efforts of the firefighters, most of the building was in ruins after the fire. An investigation into the event soon began, and the finger was quickly pointed at a communist bricklayer named Marinus van der Lubbe. In his trial, van der Lubbe claimed sole responsibility, and in the end was executed. However, he was handicapped both mentally and physically, being born with learning difficulties, and nearly blinded by lime water which got into his eyes during manual labour. Many historians doubt that he had the knowledge, intelligence, and physical capability to carry out such a difficult and successful operation. Van der Lubbe also had history for taking the blame for the acts of others. While he worked in a factory, a strike broke out. Van der Lubbe offered to take any punishment for the workers, so long as only he was punished, claiming he was one of the ringleaders, despite clearly lacking the intelligence or capability to organise such a major strike. There are several theories as to what happened. The first, and probably least likely, is the one which the authorities claimed occurred. Van der Lubbe did it all by himself. Alternatively, it could have been a Nazi plot to discredit the communists and give them justification to remove the party. The third is the communists did it. Very few historians question that van der Lubbe was involved. The big question is, who helped him? The Nazis certainly gained a lot of power thanks to the Reichstag fire. They were able to limit civil liberties with the Reichstag fire decree, and gain justification for the Enabling Act, which gave Hitler complete power. They also had the capabilities, with the intelligence, resources, and access to the building, to allow Lubbe to start the fire. They had the motive, the resources, and the ability. At the time of the fire, the Nazis feared, at least publicly, that this was the beginning of a communist coup. As one failed to come into fruition, however, little motive exists for them lighting the fire, although they possibly could have managed it had they wanted to. They still lacked the easy access, resources, and motive of the Nazis. Van der Lubbe was a known pyromaniac, and had been linked to several fires in the past. He probably would have been willing to start the fire and take the fall for whomever he was working for. He was certainly involved, but due to a lack of access, knowledge, and resources, he is unlikely to have worked alone. The trial led to the conviction of the communist van der Lubbe, and Hitler used this to lobby for greater Nazi power to protect the people. Reluctantly, Hindenburg gave Hitler the power to limit civil liberties, and soon after signed into law the Enabling Act, which had been passed by the Reichstag. Hitler now had the power to pass laws without the permission of the Reichstag, and to bypass the constitution with them. So, what did this mean for the people of Germany? Firstly, Hitler used the act to dissolve or force the disbandment of all other political parties, leaving Germany as a one-party state and securing Nazi power. The limited civil liberties no longer allowed freedom of speech and expression, so Germans could not speak out against the government. This resulted in either the single election candidate of the Nazis, or sometimes a second Nazi-approved guest, giving Nazis complete control of the Reichstag. The Enabling Act had to be renewed every 4 years to give it a sense of legitimacy, and this was done in 1937 and 1941, before being replaced in 1942 by a law which gave Hitler greater powers, including the power over the life and death of his citizens.